Well, I got my first oak bent for the new layout for our sawmill. Gonna need a lot more than that. So let's head over to the saw. Let's go cut some more logs. Alright, so let's get this one opened up. That bent over there, that log actually had a lot of bug activity. So you can see like a lot of the pieces that it's taken off. Like what are these called? Flitch? Is that what it's called? Something like that? Yeah, a lot of bugs. This one not too bad. I haven't seen that in these. So that would still be a decent board right there, right? Live edge action. Pretty. Yeah. Make some good wood. But I'm still a little bit, so I can flip this back over again. So that one over there is a 5.5 by 4, I think. No, well, actually, I don't even know. Don't remember. I cut it the other day. Now, obviously, I'd want to try to make these all the same, but I mean, in all reality, these I don't even know. Like, yeah, that's a 5.5 by. Come on, tape, work with me. What is that? 4 and like 3/8, give or take. 4, yeah, around 4 3/8. All right, just trying to cut all that bad stuff out of there, all them bugs. So that right there might be enough, you know, for like a couple legs and stuff. So obviously, if everything isn't like 100%, or even using it as like bracing material, you know, I could possibly cut that up a little bit later, you know, into something smaller. But right now, I'm just trying to get, you know, a few bents or beams or just whatever I can do, right, and just kind of get it up over to the side, and then anything that I need to kind of like recut, you know, right now I'm just trying to get a lot of these that have the bark, right, because some of those logs that have been sitting over here for a while, you know, are starting to get that bug activity. So I just want to go ahead and get them cut, and then we'll set them off to the side. They can dry up a little bit. And then, yeah, we'll see what we can't build with them later. So, but I'm going to try to get like all the stuff that the rails will be sitting on, you know, to the same size, but, prefer like a 4x6 or something like that, you know, around there. You know, I'd like to have a 6x6 for the legs if possible, but, basically whatever I can get from these, because I mean, these aren't like the greatest saw logs. They're kind of small. So I'm just going to get what I can out of them and then go with that. So yeah, this one's got some pretty gnarly stuff going on in the middle, but I can kind of see, so I need to flip this over, and I can already see I'm going to be getting a little thin. I'm probably going to have some bark showing there, but I'll get this flipped over, and then we'll get, I mean, because I'm pretty, I don't know, what was my measurement this way. So right now I'm sitting at like 6 5/8, give or take. Yeah, I'd be fine with that. I mean, plus as wood dries, it will shrink some. But yeah, let me go ahead and flip this all the way over, and then we'll try to see what we can't get out of it. So yeah, I'm fine with where that's at. I can bring it down a little bit more later, but one thing that I still need to kind of get used to this is obviously the scale. I've never really operated a saw before. I know it's a 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, 8/4 scale, and then a standard ruler. But then I don't know like who put it on, because whenever I measure the height of the blade based off of my bunk, right, because I can kind of go, so let's put it on to let's say 7, right? So I have it on 7, and then I'll go over, I mean the side rails are the same height as my bunks, which that will change later as I do the build over here. I'm not going to be utilizing these. I'm actually going to have different style of bunks. But I put my tape measure back. Let's grab this. I can't find my good tape. This one's broken, so I always have to edit and stuff whenever I'm trying to get this tape out. You see it's got a little broken thing in there. But anyway, so I have that set to 8, and then I go to the top of my bunk and then look at where my saw blade is, right? If I can get the tape to sit still, and that shows 7, right? Is that what I put it on? Did I put it on 7 or I put it on 8? And well, that's on 7. So whenever I measured it out to 12, right? Let me go up to 12, because I don't understand that. So let me go to 12. Unless, well, those might be different than the height by 3/8. Oh, let me see. Yeah, I guess the difference of that is, you can see there, 3/8 of an inch. Does that make sense? Yeah, because I measured it out earlier, and the difference was 3/8 of an inch, and I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. That should not be like that. So now I can come over here to this. Yeah, that's going to be 12. I moved it back a little too far. Well, let me try to see if I can't get it on the back of the blade. So, well, it's like 1/8. So I guess, yeah, the thickness of that blade is 1/8. So, all right, well, crisis averted, I guess, because whenever I measured earlier, it was off by 3/8, but then I saw, like, this didn't go all the way to the very top. I was like, well, that's 3/8 of an inch thick. That's probably where it's coming from. So, but no, I am going to redo this at some point. So I will have to, like, redo all that, because I would like to have, you know, bunk, because this right here is just all solid frame, and basically what's there is there, right? It's really hard to, like, level this out whenever I'm putting on stuff. Obviously, if the base is level, this should be level, but, you know, it could be off by 1/8 or 1/4, and I don't want it to be. Like, I personally would like to try to get everything within 1/16 of an inch. And yeah, I understand. I get it. It's all going to be rough sawn. Stuff is rough sawn. It's supposed to go through a planer to get it down to precision, stuff like that as you're doing it. But if I'm wanting to use it without running it through a planer, if I want to use it as rough sawn lumber, I would like it to be true to the best of my ability. You know, that way I can use it. So, but yeah, I'm pretty much happy with that. Going through that, that's why some of that stuff over there, right? Because I was just going off the 4/4 scale or 5/4 scale or just whatever it was. But that, right? Because if, to me, each one of those 4s is 1 inch, right? So that first 4 is right, but supposedly this scale over here is supposed to take into account of the blade thickness. So this 4 lines up with the 1 1/8, right? So in all reality, if I'm trying to make this board 6 inches thick, then I can just go, you know, so this is, which the 8 is basically 2 inches, right? So I go 2, 4, 6, either line it up to here, or then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, line it up to here. But if you look at those, right, those aren't the same. So that's why, you know, I'm still kind of trying to figure out, as like, why, what's the difference if I'm trying to make, and all this stuff is supposed to be based off of the frame, right? So I don't know. I guess I'm still not understanding that scale of like how that stuff works. So I'll figure it out. But anyway, I'm going through. Plus, I want to get a laser for this thing, and the laser like really helps with, you know, getting stuff. That way, you're using your tape measures, using that, and just use this as kind of like a reference guide type stuff. But yeah, we're getting it. Another bent, right? I still don't understand why they call it a bent either. But anyway. Yeah, I got another one cut. I'll get this set off over there to the drying rack. That one was heavy, and it's smaller than this. So I think I'm going to utilize the tractor to lift it up and put it over there. But, hey, short and sweet, short and sweet. I'm getting out here, still doing stuff. Waiting on stuff to come in the mail for things like the Honda, stuff for if you didn't catch our scuttlebutt, which is another side channel, right? Because this used to be the main, but now it's a side channel. I'm only doing sawmilling and blacksmithing here, and then over on our scuttlebutt channel, it's just a daily vlog Monday through Friday, and then work with me weekends stuff. You know, I am working on a trade-up program for equipment. So in here, I am working on a Honda TRX 125, basically tearing that down, getting it back up to where it needs to go. Then I'm gonna sell it. And then I also just went and picked up a John Deere Trailgator 4x2 that I'm gonna be fixing that up to sell it as well. And then I did pick up a John Deere zero turn. It's like a Z425, I think. But I'm gonna hold on to that one for a little bit because I need it. But originally it was purchased for this trade-up program, trying to get an excavator. But yeah, oh man, definitely get over to the scuttlebutt, check that out, work with me weekends. And yeah, all these main projects going on over at IFF Legacy DIY. That's where all of our main projects are going on, the do-it-yourself projects. But here, yeah, working with the weather. I still don't got anything to go overhead, and we're expecting about 5 days worth of rain. So it's coming. It's supposed to start right around dinner time. Supper, I guess, for some of y'all, if you want to say supper. But yeah, tonight, this evening. Anyway, we definitely thank y'all for following in on this lovely journey of ours. And yeah, I've been trying to change up, you know, what I'm saying on all these different channels to end it. But yeah, I don't know. Have fun. That's it. We'll see you on the next one. Later, friends.